What's up?
Just another day in paradise.
Amen to that.
Gosh, what you got going on today?
I'm trying to catch up on some stuff that I didn't do this past week because you had the long Memorial Day weekend. And then I just feel like the days are starting to blend together. Like we're getting to that point in summer, right? So I know I have like 5 tasks that are on a running to do list that were not extremely important at the time, but now it's like, okay, I got to get these done. So
Yeah,
what about
I know
you?
I'm struggling with the same thing. I'm playing catch up, but also there's all the other stuff that needs to be done that I'm not catching up on. You know what I mean? Like there's catch up, and then there's the normal stuff, and then it's like a freaking like cycle, and then like I get
Yeah.
behind or like just normal real estate things, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear
Trying to
you.
figure out prioritizing which to do and get done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
I hear
in
you.
any case,
Well, we have a fun episode today. That's a good lead into what we were thinking we were gonna talk about today, right, Vin?
yeah, life of a real estate, all the things that you gotta do.
The struggles, right?
Yeah, and, I'm sure when you were starting real estate, you didn't think that you'd be having to do all this stuff that you're talking about, right?
I had no clue what I was getting into, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I had an idea, in my head, I had this idea of what it was, and then once I actually got into the role, it was like,
Yeah,
right?
nothing like
Like
I thought too, yeah. Everyone's
yeah.
talking about, make your own hours and just sell real estate, maybe do
Yes.
some dancing on TikTok or something.
Yeah, the dancing is the least of the worries. So, today, if you're joining us, today we are doing a unique episode. If you are a homeowner or a prospective buyer, this episode might not entirely be for you. Vin and I had been talking about the different struggles we deal with on a daily basis as agents and thought it would be really helpful to create an episode that kind of talks about those for people who are thinking that they may want to pursue a career in real estate at some point, or maybe you're working towards getting your license now to bring some transparency to what it is to be a real estate agent, the challenges that come with that, and then, add a human perspective as to what we're both dealing with and seeing every day too.
Totally, totally, yeah. And maybe this would give anyone some insight about, what real estate agents actually do for their clients. But, not only that, I think a lot of stuff that we go through can be applied to all sorts of industries because we are technically a 1099 contractor slash business owner slash employee in our business slash all the above.
We wear all the
Yeah, pretty
hats,
much. So
right?
how how did you get into real estate, Julia?
So I got into real estate. I was in lending before underwriting, and at the time, I was behind a desk for 9, 10 hours a day, and I just really figured out that's not where I wanted to be, but I still wanted to be within the business. And so I was going through my own journey of buying a home with my husband at the time and just thought I had some transferable skills that would translate nicely into getting my real estate license. And I was really attracted to the whole make your own schedule, right? That flexibility, having more say over my day, how I spend my time and whatnot. But I mean, I'll just say still had no clue what exactly I was getting into. I
Yeah.
know that a lot of people it's funny, ever when I did get licensed, a lot of people were like, "Oh, have you ever seen that real estate show? It's called, like, Selling." I don't know what I still don't
Selling
know.
Sunset?
Yeah, Selling Sunset, and I to this day, I still have not seen that show. I think it has to do with real estate agents in maybe Southern California, I'm not sure. Uh,
Yeah.
does that sound right?
Yeah, I haven't seen an episode either. I've seen clips, but
Yeah,
it's like a Real Housewives, but real estate version.
got it.
So
Okay,
it's
okay,
yeah,
got
it's
it.
mostly like very rich ladies who
Who are licensed, who just happen to be
yeah,
licensed?
who have their real estate license and
Got
they're
it.
agents. Yeah, it's like very very exaggerated version of real estate.
Yeah,
And
I think that that's kind of like the filter that a lot of people kind of assume that this profession is, right? And so, I mean, I didn't have the rose-colored glasses on to that extent when I got my license, but I know a lot of people think of real estate agent, and that's kind of like their point of reference, which is funny
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me, right?
What
So
made you decide that you wanted to become a real estate agent? What were the outside perceptions making you think you wanted to do real estate?
well, I like the whole idea that I can really control my income too, right? I mean, to the extent that I can earn as much as I want to earn, as much as I'm willing to work and put in the effort, I can say what my income is. Like I can cap my own income. I'm not going to have somebody come to me and say, this is what you're making your annual salary and yeah, you could bonus maybe, but that control was really attractable to me. I mean, at the time too, I had my kids were smaller, so I needed that flexibility as well to be able to manage my day and then move around hours to be productive during the times that they're, were at school or at childcare and whatnot. And that's also what kind of brought me into the field as well. And so I found myself I got licensed and then I was kind of like, now what? At least that's how I felt. What about you, Vin? How did you get into real estate?
I was in college. I was like probably a sophomore at San Jose State, and I've never been into school.
Hmm.
I think it was like my second attempt at San Jose State, and I didn't even get in on the first time.
Hmm.
So, like, working hard at De Anza, finally getting into San Jose State. I don't know what it was, but I was just like already over it. So, like, I
Yeah.
was like signing up for classes, not showing up, just picking up a bunch of W's, which is withdrawals.
Yeah.
And at the time, this was around 2012 or so, 2012, 20, yeah, around there. And I was hanging out a lot with my cousin at the time, and he had his own brokerage.
Hmm.
So he was like, "Man, if you're not wanting to go to school, then why don't you go to school in real life and learn from me?" So I figured, all
Oh,
right,
that's cool.
yeah. So it was nice to know somebody in the industry to bring me in, but I had no idea what the real estate industry was like or anything like that. I think the only job that I did that was maybe had any piece of similarity was being a teller at Wells Fargo. I think we talked about that before.
All great agents were tellers at some point.
But, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So,
Hmm.
I just figured, hey, real estate agents, from what I know, make a lot of money, and I don't want to go
Perception,
to yeah, and I don't want
right?
to go to school anymore. So let me join real estate and make a bunch of money. Little did I
Yeah.
know, like 90% of real estate agents don't make that much money.
It's true, it's true. That's one of those perception things as well, right? Is that everybody always assumes that if you're a real estate agent or you're in real estate, especially here in Silicon Valley, California, when you look at what the property values are, everybody likes to manually calculate commissions and whatnot. And they look at that number and they're like, yeah, you guys are doing well. Like for
Hmm.
what you guys do, you guys are doing really, really well. But most people don't realize that that commission check is not it's not a every 2-week deal, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
right? It's
no,
not a every 2-week deal, and a lot of costs come out of that commission check.
yeah, like buying a car. Every time you get a real estate check or a commission check, just want to buy a car.
You see the number and you're like, "What am I gonna go treat myself to?" Right? And then you're looking at it and you're like, "Well, I paid to market the house, I paid for the photos, I paid for XYZ as part of getting, the marketing ready, I gotta deduct that, plus let's not forget Uncle Sam always takes his cut, which
That's the
always
biggest
hurts."
one.
The biggest one, and then we get another good sizable cut from our brokerage, right? Because we have our
Hmm.
brokerage splits as well. So those are all expenses that come off the top for us. So realistically, when people are looking at what they assume is this commission check that's getting deposited into our account, we're really making, you know, a lower number. So that's not even
Yeah.
completely accurate, right?
Yeah, totally. If you're a good real estate agent, you're paying off your fees, but you're also investing, you're also paying your own bills, and then also you're saving too. So,
Hmm.
a lot of real estate agents, when they first get into the game, that's why I mentioned like the first thing they get is like a car because they get that big old check and they don't
They get the
thinking
check,
about all this
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Right. So, yeah. And I always like, when I see it's funny because when I see a real estate agent that's, like, blinged out, got the nice car, got his hair slicked back and stuff, I'm like, "This guy ain't making no money."
I know, right? I know,
Unless
exactly.
unless it's a big name that, we know in the industry and, like,
Is
they're really
producing.
closing it like that,
Yep.
but most of the time, I'm like, "Man, that's a lot of money you just spent. Hopefully you getting
I
a lot
hope
of
you
commission."
got a lead gen pipe that's gonna help you continue to fund that. And that's the thing too.
Exactly.
It's like we got so many other costs outside of just when we prepare a home for market and our marketing expenses. And I think a lot of people would be pretty surprised at how much all of that costs, right?
Yeah,
Per listing. It's a good size chunk of money. It can even equate to about, part of, a good substantial amount of rent. What people pay and, for rent could potentially be what we're paying to prepare this property to get onto the market because we know as agents that people see the property online first. So we need to make it look absolutely fabulous for a great first impression. But
yeah,
then there's other fees, right, Vin? What about our MLS fees?
yeah, broker
What about
fees are
those? Right?
yeah, our
What about our
membership dues.
association dues?
Mhm. Yeah,
Right? And
yeah,
those are
yeah,
not
there's
$25, $25, $25. Those are significant dues. And you're also talking about we pay to have access to the houses through a Supra, right? A blue Supra. That's a monthly fee for us. If we're going to be using a CRM, uh, which you absolutely should be using some type of CRM to manage your database if you're an agent, that's absolutely a cost as well, right?
mhm.
What about errors
Yeah,
and admission insurance?
yeah,
Remember
there's all
that? That's an
kinds.
annual fee too, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, so definitely biggest one of the biggest things is before getting to into real estate, we didn't account for all the fees and just overall what it costs to run the business.
Hmm.
I think that's the big thing is like, all right, yeah, you think you become a real estate agent and you start closing deals? No, you gotta pay.
100%. And especially when you first get your license, I mean, you are really starting from ground zero. No one knocks
Yeah.
on your door the next day and says, "Hey, I want to sell my house. Can you be my real estate agent?"
Who are your first clients when you got your license?
Who were my first clients? My first client ever was an Op City lead. So,
Op City. Oh my
Op
gosh.
City lead. Yeah, it was an
Oh
Op
my
City.
gosh.
Yes, it was an Op City lead. So Op City is a lead generation platform, and I used them for a very short time. But basically, you pay at close of escrow for their referral fee. So did use Op City, and it was a manufactured home, and so it's a lower price point, which I have no problem with. But Op City itself, which was the lead generation platform that I used, took 30%. 30%
Yeah.
off my commission off the bat. Then on top of that, I was a newer agent. I was in a mentoring program at Keller Williams.
So you gotta pay them
I
off too.
Oh yeah, so my mentor got 25%. And so when you started looking at how much I got off my first deal, I mean I was so thankful for to have had the opportunity to close it, but it was nothing that was life-changing or altering, right? And it was something that gave me experience, and that's another thing people probably don't really realize is as you're an agent, experience is expensive because you gotta get out there to pay to play. You gotta
Yep.
get leads. You gotta invest time that you're never gonna have a return on, but you can learn something valuable, assisting other agents or working with different types of clients. And so that was my first deal was peanuts. How about yours, Vin?
My first client was my aunt.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Family. There's nothing
Yeah,
like
so
family supporting you.
it was nice. I had an aunt who was looking to move from Watsonville to San Jose.
Mhm.
Because all the family and all the work and businesses were in San Jose, and she was commuting every day.
It's a
And
drive for sure.
yeah, she's very close to my mom, so my
Mhm.
mom's like my biggest advocate. So she was just like, "Yeah, Vin just got his license. Give him a chance. Give him a chance." So that was a that was a
Sweet. Shout out to
yeah.
mom. Shout out
Shout
to
out to
mom.
moms, man. She's the biggest support. She still comes to all my open houses.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
But yeah, that was that, and then right after that, then my second transaction was from open houses. I
That's a
hosted an
pretty
open
good one, Vin.
house. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I didn't think about getting clients. I just thought I was gonna be a real estate agent, and all like the clients were gonna come. But I mean, I did get lucky with those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very funny and interesting way to start.
Hey, well, that's good. At least you did you have to pay any type of referral fee on that? on that buyer
Yeah,
that
I did
came
the
in?
same thing. I did the same. I was in a mentorship too, so I had to pay half of my stuff to my mentor.
There you
And,
go.
I think it was fair, meaning like, yeah, even though it would suck to give half of your commission away, but pay to play, right? There was no
Yeah.
one else that would be taking me on or showing me the business. I mean, my cousin is there, but at
Mhm.
the time my cousin was doing mostly flips,
I
so
see. He
he
was on the
wasn't in the
investment
regular.
side.
Yeah, he's on the investment side, not in the regular retail side, and that's a whole different animal itself too.
That's true. That's
And
true.
when I was coming up, that wasn't what I saw myself doing. Was working with investors and trying to get people like the most money flipping the property. I didn't see
Mhm.
myself doing that, right? So I told my cousin like, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting." So
Mhm.
I'm gonna check out the retail side, but I didn't know anybody on the retail side. I only knew my cousin, so I had to
I
like,
see.
yeah, I had to like basically knock on people's offices in my brokerage to be like, "Hey, I'm new. I don't know anything, but I see that you're very experienced and if you ever need any help or if you're trying to take someone on, I'll work for free. I'll do anything. I just want to
Mhm.
learn and I just need someone to teach me, but I'll do everything for free."
Mhm.
And that's basically how I got started. I found like the two most top producing guys in the office, and they're
Mhm.
like, "All right, kid, come host an
Batter
open
up.
house for me. I need, yeah, come host an open house, or come show this house, come get me coffee," and then, that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's how, like, that's how most agents, that's how we start, is through a mentorship and a lot of just research on the job in the moment. I mean, I think I spend a lot of time too just trying to figure out who do I want to mentor with, where do I want to be at, and then just being willing to show up every day. Half the battle really is showing up every day in the beginning because you're not getting paid every day. And there's no guarantee you're going to get paid in a month or 2 months, right? Or whatnot. I mean, you could book a client tomorrow. It doesn't mean that the transaction's gonna close. And that's
Yeah,
another thing too, right, Vin? I mean, we work with some sellers and yeah, we sign a listing agreement. You're talking about there could be months before the property gets on,
yeah,
right? Months.
totally.
And you're not getting paid during that time. But
Yeah,
you're still working. Our payment comes at the end once everybody's happy. And
yeah,
sometimes it doesn't
really.
even come at all,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, you can work for somebody, show them houses, and have a change of heart, or they go with someone else, and that was that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. So, as you started getting your bearings, like, how did you start to, like, get acclimated to the business? How did you start to get clients and, like, how did it all go for you up until now?
So when I first came on and I went into that mentorship, I started doing open house all the time. Like I was doing crazy amounts of open house. Like every weekend I'd be on open house. If there was a 3-day weekend, I would do all 3 days. Like I would host it, I'd bring refreshments, I'd be there all the time just trying to figure out what I should be doing, right? I mean, I had a mentor. Unfortunately, my mentor at the time left the brokerage that I had joined, and so it really was a limbo time where I didn't really have any direction, and I was trying to figure out what I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I was marketing myself. There's one thing I've always done consistently from the beginning up until now is marketing myself. So sometimes people go into real estate and they're really shy, right? They don't want to tell people that they're a real estate agent. We call those the secret agents, right?
Yep.
they
Mhm.
don't they don't want to tell anybody that they're a real estate agent. That's never been an issue for me. So I've always been able to go out and market myself as a realtor. But I ended at our our previous brokerage in Los Altos, and that's where I met my our partner now, Nancy, and she really took me under her wing, along with a few of us, and really showed me how to actually work an open house and two, how to market yourself to make the phone ring because the
Yeah.
phone doesn't just start ringing because you got your license. There's right? You got to
Yeah.
start building trust with people and that includes people you don't know and people you know. So just
Yeah.
because you know somebody, they're your friends or something, something like that doesn't mean they're going to use you as
Yeah.
their real estate agent, right, Vin?
Right. Mhm. Totally.
So, it's showing up in a way that I felt that I could do so consistently, and for me, it's been my marketing, online, social media. I've never been big into cold calling, I'll tell you that right now. I'm not that agent. I don't like cold calls to my phone, so I don't do that to other people. When I was a teller in Wells Fargo, we used to have a call night. I don't know if you guys ever had those.
You
They
had
would have us
you would
yeah,
cold call
they
for
would have us
tellers?
cold call, yeah, so, like, if
What were
they
you
wanted
selling? Accounts?
credit cards, accounts, bonuses, home equity special, whatever was the deal of the day for the branch, but they we would have call nights where we would have to get on and call. I just remember just people hated when they would answer the phone and we would be, it would be us, your friendly, your friendly banker. And like, why are you calling me? I didn't tell you I needed or wanted anything. So I don't cold call. I don't like it. But I show up consistently in my marketing. So being consistent in my marketing and also finding a really solid partner and mentor has been career changing for me and helped me really build momentum through this business and the longer I'm in this profession. So
Yeah,
what about you, Vin?
what about me for
How
like
did you
how
start building momentum and gathering your bearings, would you say?
honestly, I feel like I'm still doing that like 12 years later.
It's true though that I mean I would be lying if I didn't say some days I'm like, okay, come on.
Yeah, you know,
You're a big real estate. You're an older real estate agent now. You're fine. Like the constant pep talks, right? Do you pep talk?
mhm.
Give yourself pep talks? Because I pep talk to myself all the time.
Yeah, totally. I have a playlist on my Spotify called Listing Appointments. And it's just straight up songs that I listen to pump me up to get ready for the appointment, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And regardless if it's a listing or an open house or I'm meeting a buyer, I'm just like I hesitate to say fake it till you make it, but sometimes it's a grind in this business where you
for
help
sure.
somebody, you're done, and you kind of start back at zero.
It's
Yeah,
true.
it's a relationship based business, but it's not like your relationship is on some sort of like it's not like I make relationships just for real estate. So I'm like waiting for that phone call to like I'm building relationships because I want to be friends and I want to have that connection. And if that point in your life comes up, I want to be the one to be able to help you because I have experience and I want to help and I love this game called real estate, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But not all the time does it work out like that. And so, meaning like you are kind of just starting over at zero every time you close a transaction and you're looking for the next one. And
100%.
it could be a drag or a grind because it's like, all right, next one. And you already proved your value to one person, but now this other person, they don't know who you are at all. So you
Starting from
gotta like
0.
audition again. And
Yeah.
it plays a toll on your mental sometimes. So you gotta like pep yourself up. You gotta be your own biggest fan and be like, I've done this before, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I always think about it and refer to it as like the seasonal real estate depression.
Yeah.
That I feel like I go through, like, the different cycles that I've since I've been in this now a few years, I can start to
Yeah.
recognize it better, right? Where I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh, it's okay, it's just a seasonal depression, it'll get better." But yeah, for sure, I mean, that whole feeling of like, okay, people see, you've closed X amount of deals, and everyone's like, "Yeah, life's great, great job, you work so hard," but really you wake up tomorrow and you're unemployed. And that really is
Yeah.
the reality of it, right? You got lead generation does not stop. Like
It
it's
doesn't.
constant in one
Yeah.
form, shape, or another. And that can be really challenging,
Yeah. Well, and
right?
there's that and there's so many other real estate agents now. So you're also having to compete against other real estate agents,
Hmm.
for the client. And that's normal, right? Like a barber is competing for like his clients just like other barbers too, like or a gym trainer like you're trying to stand out so that way you can get clients, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Cuz like I don't know, I always tell people this, but like in every family, there's at least 1 to 2 real estate agents, right?
Oh,
Like,
a
everybody's
hundred
becoming real
percent.
estate agents.
Yeah.
So you're always trying to compete and trying to put yourself out there so you can get clients, so
Yeah, yeah. And then I think also part of this too, and this is just another struggle that I didn't realize would be something that I'd have to deal with as I walked into this profession is that I mean the real estate industry as far as real estate agents go, I feel like it's the wild wild west because each one is so different.
yeah.
So people really don't know what are they supposed to be getting? What's the experience? What should a good positive experience with the real estate agent be like? And because most people don't do or don't have real estate transactions happening on a regular basis. It just takes one horrible transaction with, an agent that didn't go well for that to just skew their perception, and now all agents are like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because the barrier of entry for real estate agents is pretty low. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know about you, Julia, but I'm not the smartest tool in the shed.
Vin,
And
you're
if,
pretty smart, hush.
but all that to say that, like, honestly, I don't really consider myself like that unique, right? I'm just a normal person. And like, I also never finished college too, right? Like, there's these things. But what I'm trying to get at is that anyone can take the test and anyone can pass it.
Mhm.
And I mean, for someone like me, if I can pass it, for sure anyone can. And that just means that all right, anyone can do it. So you have this gambit of like really smart MBA people who are making a career change, or
Mhm.
you have that go-getter from McDonald's who's like, all right, I want to be my own boss now. And one of the professions where I can be my own boss is a real estate agent. So
Mhm.
you definitely get all kinds of real estate agents, and that's why it's so interesting to always ask, like, "What did you do before real estate?" Right?
It is, and
Yeah.
I think too, another thing that people looking to get into the industry would find interesting as well is that, there are agents who produce a lot that we know in this area, Ben, but they're not necessarily making a whole lot.
Mhm.
And I say that because it is difficult to manage your expenses, as we went back and talked about. So, in the beginning, so if you're making a lot of money, but you're spending a lot of money, whether that's in advertising, prep, or otherwise, right, or charities or whatnot, and you're not managing that, I mean, you could be producing a lot of units, right? But maybe what you're actually taking home income wise can be really, really small, and so you have to manage your expenses. And I know I mean, I don't know what you do in your business, Ben, but I know, like, for me, I try to cap certain areas. So when I'm gonna prep a home, like, I know this is my budget range. Any exterior marketing that I'm doing to generate business, so farming, which is a designated area, that I mail to for marketing purposes, like, I have those caps for those
Yeah.
amounts because I know too it can be feast or famine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I could have a great year this year, but next year the market could change or shift, or something that's completely out of my control, like a war,
Yeah.
could start, and that could directly impact my business's ability to make
Yeah.
income, right?
Totally. No, I think any good real estate agent understands that, and at the end of the day, regardless of the title real estate agent or not, it's a business owner, right? And
Hmm.
if you're not
Yes.
doing these things, then the business is not going to be going. And that's why I like that you mentioned about how there's all kinds of real estate agents, because at the end of the day, I think if you're coming into this thing thinking about making a boatload of money, but you don't have the right intentions about it, you don't got the right mindset or personality, like, of a business owner, of a real true business owner who's
Hmm.
caring about their customers or clients or whatnot, then you're not gonna succeed in this business, or, to be honest, in any other business.
Yeah.
So, that's why I think it's really important where you distinguish agents, because yeah, you can have a lot of real estate agents that can make a lot of money, want to make a lot of money, but if they don't
Hmm.
got the right intentions or the right mindset, then it doesn't matter at all, because sooner or later, it's gonna come back to bite you in the butt.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree with you
Yeah,
on that one.
yeah.
And then let's talk about this next thing that I totally blindsided me. I had no idea about this when I went into real estate. I never realized in my life that I would be the point of target for so many scammers.
Mm,
Scammers, hackers, we're constantly getting inquiries, right? Inquiries that are not necessarily a legitimate buyer or seller, and they want to maybe, meet with us or otherwise. And you're talking about people who, I mean, you've never met this person, right? These
yeah,
people you meet typically on the phone, and you ask questions, but it's really something that you have to be very careful with meeting potential clients or strangers in person for your own personal reasons. And I've heard stories from different agents. I mean, I know you have too, where personal safety was a real concern.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially for you lady agents, because there's a lot of creeps out there. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of the ugly side to real estate, and
Hmm.
not just that, but I think real estate agents are easy pickings because again, there's all kinds of real estate agents, and if
Yeah.
you're not on top of it, then you are easy money. And then plus when you're helping clients, you have access to all their financial documents. You have access to really, really close and important information. You're basically the point person of. So scammers know this, and that's why they go for you.
That's why they go for you, and we're talking about so, yeah, the in general, the personal safety thing, that is a real concern, when we hold open houses and whatnot, and, there's all kinds of tips on how to make sure you go about things in a safe way. So anybody who's thinking about getting into the business, especially, yes, if you are a woman, these are things you should look up and consider and figure out if you feel comfortable with these things, because these are details you will have to contend with in this field, unfortunately. And as far as I mean, then I probably have gotten today. I told Nancy the other day, my partner, that I think that the Google scammers went on vacation because they stopped calling me, because they were calling me once an hour, every hour between 8 and 7 p.m. about my expired Google listing, that blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't use Google listings, but okay. And today, this morning, it started right back up. And now I get it either every hour or every half hour. And every time I get it, I block the call, I block the number, and then they just call from another number. And so it's like, it's exhausting, right? It's a whole nother
Yeah.
thing that you have to contend with. And then, hackers are also always, our emails are a big point of interest to hackers as well. So it's just this constant vigilant game that you have to have on as a real estate agent to know, who's contacting you. Is it legitimate? What information are they trying to get from you? I mean, I've even had, like, it's so funny. I've even had my like social platforms, all kinds of different platforms where it's very obvious somebody's trying to get into it, and it's like, thank goodness I have all of the security on it as well, but it's just like they're targeting real estate agents for a very specific reason, and those reasons are everything that you just shared.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's part of the game too because you as a real estate agent, you want to be known, easily contactable. You want to put
Mhm.
your number and your email out there.
Yep.
So, it comes with it. I get phone calls all the time or like emails all the time like, "Hey, I'm looking to buy in this area XYZ. Can you help me out or can you hop on a call?" And like for, a normal or like a new real estate agent, that's like, that's so nice. It's so easy, but it don't come that easy, you know?
It really doesn't. If it comes that easy, there's a problem, I guarantee it, because this profession does require a certain level of digital awareness that most people who go into this have no idea about, but it is a real thing, and it's one of my least favorite things that we have to deal with on a daily basis, I will say, personally.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It gets super annoying. You got life, and then on top of that, all this other stuff with the
Over here
scamming.
trying to
It's like,
close these deals. I
mm-hmm,
haven't had like, what if you haven't had a closing in months, and then on top of that, you have to deal with the scammer who's trying to scam you, get your login information so they can try to access your database. It sucks.
yeah.
It's
No,
awful.
well, yeah, definitely didn't think about that when I started a real estate agent or a real estate business, but
Yeah,
I think that adds on to the overall weight of being a real estate agent,
for
right?
sure.
Because it's not just the scamming and having to protect your clients from the scammers and trying to protect yourself as well,
Mhm.
but it's an emotional side too because yeah, not, the scams is one thing, but dealing with other people's emotions with that too is a huge, huge deal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know that I expected to get so emotionally invested with the clients that I work with, but I mean, we really see all the different angles of clients' lives, from their families to their jobs to their finance to their timelines to all the stresses that they have. And it's really difficult not to get emotionally invested, right? And that takes a
Yeah.
toll.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
really does take a toll.
Yeah, I mean, very understandable because we're helping these people buy the biggest asset of their life for the most part, and it's a lot of money. And one wrong move can get you down a path that is gonna be really hard to come back from, or can set you up for life, kind of. To be honest, you can
Yeah.
you can buy some sort of investment in a neighborhood that you didn't really realize and the agent maybe didn't really tell you much about it, and you could be sitting in that house for a really long time because it's never appreciating, right? Or it's just giving you like a really tough life because you're dealing with neighbors or neighborhoods that you didn't really expect, versus buying something that actually does appreciate and that helps your life, makes you happy, and sets you up for the next investment so that way you can help your own families. So it's a big deal for a lot of people to try to figure out if this is the right move for them or not. So we're carrying a lot of that emotion too.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're part therapist, part real estate agent most times, and therapists in the and more so in the lens of we listen, right? We listen to a lot that people share with us because these are factors that are going to directly influence what they're going to do with this transaction, right? Whether they're going to buy or sell or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so we end up by default being therapists. And I know sometimes I've been in certain situations too where, you know, as I'm going through it and we're, hitting different milestones and maybe their situation is a little bit complicated, where I have to like take a break and be like, just have to decompress as well because usually when someone's selling a home, it's not always a happy reason. They're not always upsizing, right? Or going to go do something very positive. Sometimes people are selling homes because somebody has passed away or somebody's health has declined so much that now the owner needs to go into some type of nursing care, right? So it's just a very heavy situation for the whole family involved, right? And then not to mention you likely have multiple decision makers, right? That you have to now also take into consideration and communicate with. So
Yeah.
it can be heavy. It can.
Yeah. I definitely didn't think about that going into real estate. I think we're pretty similar personalities where we're feelers. We feel for our
Yeah.
clients, and it's a heavy burden to take on that feeling because you don't want to let the other person down. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think to what you said exactly. I mean, we got a lot of heart, and I always wonder too, and maybe in years down the road, I'll have more clarity on this too. But I mean, that's why I always think like the agents that are producing big time. uh, Man, I'd love to know what their secret is to balancing it all because it can be a lot. Right? It can
Hmm.
be a lot, and the expectations can be a lot as well, even from the client to the agent, just because of the nature of the transaction being such a high financial amount. I mean, as agents, we can walk our clients through the information, set the landscape, tell them best practices, give them all the information that they need. But at the end of the day, they really are the ones who make the decisions, right? And if they make decisions and maybe the outcome isn't what they wanted it to be, a lot of times too, they want to feel some type of way about it, right?
Hmm.
But as agents, these decisions that they're making, those are their decisions to make. Really, we're here as a professional guidance and resource to give them the information to feel empowered to make an informed decision. But at the end of the day, we're not making that decision for them.
Yeah,
And so that can be
totally.
a difficult line also to have to walk and also just an expectation to balance on the agent side.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just doing your best to present all the information possible so that way your clients can make the best decision for them. So, but knowing all of that, going through all of that, still worth it for you to be a real estate agent?
I don't know, Vin. It depends on the day, okay? No, just kidding. And let me apologize right now. I have a gardener here. at my house. So if you hear a leaf blower, that's not me. That's my gardener. But anyways, right now I love the flexibility that this provides me. And like I said, I do still love that my income is uncapped. It can be whatever I want it to be. Now, that being said, if I don't work hard and generate to have it, a high income, then it can also have a side where it's not, I mean, forget about being uncapped, but it's really not that much, right? Like it's that whole feast and famine thing as well. But I will say it is incredibly rewarding. And as I look on to the future, I am excited for the momentum that I have built up into this point. And so that's my marketing, my sphere, my business. Because another thing too is that consistency is really the long game in this business. And that's what's going to help you produce. So you're not going to get licensed and instantaneously have a great, steady, consistently producing business.
Mhm.
That's something that's gonna come with time. And so I think I've
Yeah.
made my peace with that as well. So that way I can hold myself accountable to be consistent in things like marketing and outreach. And I think too, when I first got in the business, everybody throws their ideas at you about lead generation, what you should do, how you should market yourself, push yourself outside your comfort zone and all this stuff. But nobody really, I feel like, tells you to lean into what you feel comfortable with when it comes to marketing. So I think whatever you're going to do, whether you're going to go knock on people's doors or you're going to call or you're going to market or you're going to do community events, pick something that you know you can be consistent at. And if it's something that you're like, I don't like that, it's not gonna work for me, don't waste your time doing it. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna try to be as consistent as you can for a little bit, and then it's just you're not gonna stick to it. And really, you could have had a lot more progress if you would have picked a different lead generation method that you feel comfortable with, because then it's easier for you to show up every day and be consistent. So
Yeah,
it's
makes a lot
worth
of
it.
sense.
It's a long
Yeah,
game.
it makes a lot of sense.
What about you, Vin? How do you feel?
Yeah, for sure. I'm kinda like you, like, some days I'm, like, wondering if it really worth it, but that's why I always stick to going back to, like, what are you doing this for? Are you doing this for money, or are you really doing this to, like, help people? Obviously,
Yeah.
we're all doing it for a little bit of money, right? That's the reason why we
Yeah, we
do
all
some of
gotta
these
live.
things. But you have
Yeah.
to have the right intention, and for me, when I, like, come across a client who is in a situation where they're looking to buy a house or looking to sell and they're not sure what's the path, and I'm able to help them through that and jump through obstacles or hoops and, like, figure out things, and for
Mhm.
them to, like, move on with their life after we're done, those are the days when I feel like it's worth it. So I
Yeah,
think,
I agree.
like you were saying, as an agent, you gotta pick your lane and find out what works for you. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, when doing all of that, if you're not doing it to help people, if you're just doing it for, me, MVP,
Mhm.
it's gonna run out quick and you're not gonna have anybody to help after that. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I totally agree with your points, and yeah, it's worth it still. So
it's worth it, but take it day
yeah.
by day. So let's close this off with one piece of advice, Vin, that you would give somebody who's saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting my real estate license." What's one piece of advice that you wish you had before you got your license that would be valuable to them now?
Mm, I have 2, but one
Even
is
better.
one is don't do it, and number 2, real talk, any advice I have is, I never really thought about it, but I think if I had to give, like, my younger brother or sister or anyone else who's looking to get in the game, I would say come in open-minded and don't give up.
Aw, don't give up. Take it one day at a time.
Yeah, yeah. Be open-minded, do all the things because that's how I came in the game. Like I didn't know what to do, so I did all the things, but I was open-minded about it. I was positive, and it eventually led me to how I saw myself running the business, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm still working on it, but
Mhm.
yeah, just have an open mind, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, how about you?
that's a good one. That's a good one. I would say, one, find yourself a mentor who resembles what you would like your business to look like
Yep,
and who
that's a good
resembles
one.
what you look like. And I
Mm,
say that specifically because they're going to understand what challenges you're going to face. So let me explain that a little bit more. If you're a woman and you have children, right? And so you're juggling, you're building a business, you have these kids, look for a real estate agent who has done something similar,
yeah,
because they're going to know what challenges you're going to have, and they're going to have already made mistakes that I guarantee you're going to make. So save yourself time, save yourself resources, find yourself a mentor who is at the level that you aspire to be at one day, but who has also come from a similar background, right? So they can help save you time.
yeah,
Okay.
great point. Yep,
Yeah, so
great
that
point.
that would be that's what I would say. The last parting piece of advice I would give is be very cautious, and we've talked about this before in other episodes, of anybody who sells you the dream or the pie in the sky. Because I will tell you now, if you go on LinkedIn, how many job postings do you see, Vin, for a real estate agent making $200,000 to $250,000, at XYZ brokerage, and they're hiring, and so just remember that if you see certain things or someone trying to sell to you, whether that's at a brokerage or otherwise, something that's too good to be true, it probably is. So make sure you do your research and vet all that information carefully.
Yeah, great point. And I know this is a different type of episode, but we thought we'd just talk a little bit about our lives and give a little bit of insight. So yeah, hopefully you found it helpful.
Exactly, exactly. So we will catch you guys back on the next episode of Agents of the Valley. As always, if you want to connect with us, even if you're a newer agent and you have questions, hit me or Ben up on social. We're on all the different platforms. We'd love to connect with you, maybe save you some time, some mistakes that we both made how many years ago. But until next time, we'll see y'all later.
See you.
Bye.